Christian apologist and philosopher William Lane Craig is among the most notable religious apologists to make what has come to be known as the moral argument for God's existence. The summation of it is this: without the existence of a supreme deity or some consciousness that transcends humanity, we have no basis to label any action moral or immoral. They are simply actions that have consequences that we can't label one way or another, because it is not objective. If we condemn an action as immoral in a universe without a God, it is simply an opinion. Others have made this argument as well. You can find it on carm.org's page, or you can hear YouTube's very own Venom Fang X articulate this point. Here is the problem with this argument. Implicit in that logic is the idea that we should not want to live in a society where moral assumptions affecting others are up in the air and at the discretion of every individual. The religious apologist assumes, quite correctly, that the listener would see a society where everyone did whatever they wanted to, regardless of the harm it did to others, as terrifying and dystopian and very much opposed to the well-being of humanity. After all, if we lived in a society where people could not identify murder or rape as wrong, nobody's personal safety or survival could be ensured or even recommended. Now, a step away from the fact that this isn't an argument for God's existence at all, even though many theists present it as such. It's simply an argument, and a fallacious one at that, underlying that we would not want to live in a world without theistic objective morality. The existence of deities is not proved or evidenced by it. But sidestepping that, there is this issue of how an atheist secular humanist should respond to that kind of assertion. We can agree that a society in which demonstrably detrimental actions like murder and rape were tolerated would be a nightmare for all involved. We can also recognize the fact that rules governing society and a justice system that ensures deterrence of such actions and the defense of rights of others helps promote individual as well as societal well-being. In addition, tangible kindness towards others makes us feel good, well, most of us, and definitely helps those who it is extended to. What those of us who are atheists realize is that we need not have any reason greater or more complex than that for behaving kindly to others. Why not stop there? What people like William Lane Craig and other apologists fail to understand is that altruistic behavior and empathy for others can be their own basis for kindness and can lay the foundations for an ethical system without a divine authority. It also provides a strong enough reason to deter us from harming others. Yet still, religious apologists might assure us that or argue that these are just opinions, not objective judgments. But the problem with this position is there are many problems with this position, but I'm going to focus on some of them. For one, theists can't prove the existence of the beings they claim to be the foundation of their morality. That's right off the bat. And two, it relies on a very fallacious argument from authority. Three, if we take the position that whatever God commands is moral, just on the basis of who he is, even if it is demonstrably illogical, then that is not objective morality either. It is just God's arbitrary opinion. What I need you to understand is what many theists are actually arguing is that a moral claim can only be valid if a significant transcendent power declares it right or wrong. And a moral opinion can only be valid if such a divine being validates it. And I can help you understand this with a simple playground analogy. What advocates for theistic-based objective morality are arguing is that the child who shares his snacks with his hungry classmates, primarily because their teacher told them to, has a better reason to do so than the child who shares their snacks simply because it is a nice thing to do and they feel better after sharing. It's the assumption that the morality of a child who doesn't strike their younger sibling because their parents told them not to and might spank them or send them to timeout is more ethically grounded than the child that realizes that they don't like being hit, that others probably don't like being hit, and for that empathetic reason and for a more peaceful environment, they shouldn't be violent towards others. That's where the logic takes us. I'm kind of going the reductio ad absurdum route here, but I think it's a fairly accurate description of the fundamental difference in the foundation of theistic objective morality, as understood by many believers, and secular humanist morality. So, backed by evidential support and the tangible concepts of suffering and well being, we can see that kindness, empathy, reason, and compassion can be a personal, meaningful base for moral action, absent of a divine authority figure. And when they are applied by a majority of individuals in a society, they can produce tangible good for everyone. The next part of this series will deal with theistic-based morality and the suspension of independent thinking. I hope that you'll be listening to it.